One word or what was what?
You said
Okay, I'll say respect. Great promoter.
Yeah. Better than you?
No, don't say that.
Okay. Call it as you see it.
Survivor.
Not wrong. Big shot as well. That gentleman there.
Sweet. Victory was sweet.
Yeah.
Let's say that.
Lastly, call it as you
Oh,
see
bless him. Bless him.
it. Is that
That's the best way to say, yeah.
First question to Eddie. What I respect about you is you understand the business end of boxing. There's guys we know come out of boxing, former WBC world champion of the world, and not always in the best position financially after. What I like about you is you understand to get your fighters into a better financial situation before I get out again.
Yeah, that's the name of the game. By the way, that's the name of the game in every career. But this one comes with danger. So it's like you can't just be in the sport chasing legacy, not getting paid, and then leave the sport. It's a very short career. And the reality is, if you don't get out with enough money, you're going to have to start a new career post-boxing. Now, we also know that a very small percentage of people leave the sport financially secure. So whenever you get the chance to do it, it's so important, and it's a great feeling as well. Like I like the ones, the stories. Like Dave Allen's a good example.
Yeah.
Like if I look at Dave Allen where he was a couple of years ago, he was in a really bad place mentally, I feel, but two, financially, and he's just like, if you just stay in the game, if you can stay consistent, sometimes the opportunities will come. Now, I see him buy houses, he's got a few houses, he's paying off his mortgages for the houses. That's one of the most rewarding things.
What does that feel like as a person?
Amazing.
That you can open up
Yeah,
to?
amazing. Because I like to see people win. And I like to see people, especially stories like that. Like AJ's different because obviously won Olympic gold, came out, signed a big contract, and just made a huge amount of money. And he deserves it. But it's almost like the ones as well who, maybe you wouldn't expect to go out and make that kind of money. That's when I like to be able to see a guy retire and then see him out and go, how's things? Yeah, good, one of my great stories is a little bit before Junior's time, but he'll know Francis Ampofo, the young flyweight, who was one of my favourite fighters. He was like my hero growing up, him and Jim McDonnell, when I was like 12, 13. And he was British flyweight champion, fought for the world title, European title. And when he stopped boxing, he went to Norfolk and he goes, I'm going to open a chicken farm. Right? And we're like,
Yeah.
And I'm like, what do you know about chicken? And he was one of those guys. He was just a great trier. When I first met him, he was buying parts for computers. You remember the boxes, the computers, not laptops, just like the boxes. And he was building them himself, like learning how to build them and then selling them, right, after that. So then he goes to Norfolk and he's starting a chicken farm, right? Next thing, he sent me a couple of photos. He's got thousands of chickens. And I'm thinking, what's going on? Anyway, I bump into him. And Francis Ampofo is basically the guy that supplies Marks and Spencers with all their eggs, right?
Yeah.
Got a beautiful little farm down. And this is a guy that actually didn't make life-changing money out of boxing. But just to see him, go, that for me is one of the most rewarding things. Because it's not a story that gets told so often in boxing is fighters leave the sport financially secure, because most of them don't. By the way, that's like a lot of other careers as well. Not everybody's in a career where they're financially secure, but the ones that perform at the highest level can get there if they do it right and if they've got the good people around them.
That leads me to what we're doing now, so I'll tell you a true story. Callum Simpson called me 4 weeks ago. Remember Crawford Ashley?
Yeah.
Homeless, lost everything, out on the street. And we work closely with Boxers in Need and Peter Fury, who set it up. And we're now, my day-to-day runnings now is helping the fighters with whatever they do with. So Matt knows we've got a WhatsApp group with 300 fighters in there. Past champions, active champions, helping each other in any which way we can. So we've managed now to get them off the street, get them housed, and putting them in the right direction. Do you feel, while you're helping the fighter through their career, that it's important that the fighters have that security so it doesn't get to a situation where they have to ask for aftercare?
Yeah, a lot of that is having the right people around you, and obviously a lot of that is trying to financially secure yourself. So Crawford Ashley is a good example of someone, very good fighter, British, domestic, European, probably a world level fighter, big puncher.
Yes.
Right. I was watching this guy growing up. He used to fascinate me. He had the massive dreadlocks, and he was tall, so tall and rangy. He could really punch. But it's like, unfortunately in life, you can't help everyone. You've got to just try your best to help as many people as possible. Sometimes it's hard to help people. I think Ricky Hatton was a good example of that, where everyone felt like Ricky was in a good place because he spoke about it. He was like, all he wanted to do was help other people, but he actually needed the help himself. But no one, even the close people around him, really knew how much help he needed, you know. And a lot of these people will push the help away. Maybe that was Crawford, you know, maybe you're too proud, if you like, to take that help. Next thing, life is a downward spiral. So in answer to your question, we've all as a community got to help as much as we can. You know, we can't, like I said, it's very difficult to have this kind of umbrella to help every ex-fighter that ever left the game. But if there's a guy who needs help, it doesn't matter if, by the way, if they're a fighter or you know, whatever background they come from. But in boxing, it's all of our responsibilities to try and help out where we can. So that's a great story about Crawford Ashley. You know, I'm glad that's, you know, you look at other guys. Kirkland Lang was a good example.
Very good.
You know, and similar went down that road, passed away now, I believe. You know, and I believe so.
I think so.
And you know, he was living rough. He was, you know, and there's another amazing fighter. You know, so I think sometimes it's not a case of people not wanting to help. It's we've got so much responsibility in our lives and to help. You know, I've got 110 fighters. Do you know what I mean? Now, if we start looking at every ex-fighter that's left us, it's very difficult to cover all bases. But any way we can help.
But what,
You know,
what you're doing though is you're making them financially rewarding, like you're doing with AJ with Jake Paul, you're making them financially rewarding so that they shouldn't end up in that position.
No, but not everybody gets those opportunities. I mean, you got guys. I mean, the money in the sport. Like Junior will know that some guys, like there's guys in a 6-round fight that might have made what he made to fight for a world title. They're coming out the exactly.
Yeah, I know they are.
But obviously that's time as well.
Yeah.
Over time that's going to go up. So it's just like Premier League football. There's greats who played for Tottenham or West Ham that you might see driving a cab or working on the markets or whatever because it's like the wrong era of the sport. So, but not everybody is making that kind of money. Do you know what I mean? Like you got guys. I mean, there's area title fights on the weekend, might be fight of the night. Probably the guy in the away corners got a full-time job.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
One guy you are helping with the money is Ben Whittaker though.
Ben Whittaker, yeah, but also, by the way, it's a business. It's not just us going, yeah, all right, everybody have money. You look at Ben Whittaker, you know, the following's huge. People are tuning in. The Zone love him, you know, and that profile, that interest that he's created means that he's going to get paid. Do you know what I mean? Bums on seats and people tuning in. He's going to get you paid.
So what? I told him that already.
Yeah,
I thought you'd had that as well.
Yeah, the problem probably with Junior is that not enough people knew the story and knew the character, and he probably wasn't promoted in the same way with the energy that I don't know, Naz might have had, and those kind of Hatton and those kind of guys, you know. So you always had to do it the hard way, and you were so tough to beat.
Yeah.
Because you had a style that wasn't a style that it's a bit like we were talking about Devin Haney, right? Devin Haney is an amazing boxer.
Yes.
I used to promote Devin Haney. I now don't. I don't really want to put my guys in with Devin Haney.
Yeah.
Because one, I don't think, you know, stylistically it's the right, you know, a very exciting fight, but two, he's very hard to beat, and you fell under that category where it was like Junior Witter's really, but the perception of you was fucking hell, not Junior Witter, he's like fucking hell, he's hard to beat, skilled, he's so skilled, and he's like, you know what I mean, and you were probably under more pressure to fight. You know, you're actually a good person to talk about the Haney kind of debate, where it's like people will be saying like, and the reality is, I will say to a fighter as well, more than management, I've got to tell you, if you keep fighting like that, people aren't going to tune in and watch, and you're going to struggle to get the opportunities. But it's very difficult to say to a fighter, come on, be aggressive. Engage. It's like, fuck you. I can win every round. I know.
It's funny because like I started my career, you know, I had 18 fights, 4 box sub judo, 16 fights, 4 box sub judo. I had 3 stoppages. My next 15 opponents, I knocked out. And was still saying I want to punch her.
But isn't that the Dominic Ingle trick of not stopping those guys early so you can get the fights? A lot of the management back then didn't want you to stop those opponents early.
No, Brendan's told me a few times, just get through it.
Because then you become tougher to match. And when one of the reasons you would have got the kind of Zab Judah fights, those kind of fights, is because people look at your stoppage record and go, well, he can't punch anyway. anyway. So I'll take that. And then you start fighting. Lee Selby was the same.
Yeah.
Chris Sanagar used to say to him, no, just 4 rounds, 6 rounds, thank you very much. And then when he got the opportunity against Stephen Smith, they looked at the record and went, well, he's got 2 stoppages. Josh Warrington the same.
Yeah.
So,
We did.
yeah.
Listen, Eddie's got to go. If you like the vibe, don't forget to subscribe.